Anxiety today is becoming more and more common for many people at this time. More common in middle school and high school. If not in school, then during middle and high school at home. People want to live a fulfilling life, but worry and stress out on themselves. Who or what are you afraid of inside your mind? What makes your body language and thought process shaky and nerves trembling of anticipation? When the who or what passes the event, meaning the subject and action, you feel more relaxed, more in control, like, geez, good thing the worst thing I thought of didn't happen. But a funny thing too is we become regretful afterwards. We second guess ourselves with fake confidence just because we live after that experience. Anyone close to death, like almost missing a jump from a long jumping distance at the edge of a very tall mountain, would have the greatest of confidence, relief afterwards when surviving, but will never attempt to try again. That person will stay away from any situation similar to that again. Similar to socially anxious people and anxious people, they will try to stay away from any uncomfortable situations as far as possible, but always find themselves in flight or flight mode situations. That flight or flight is actually a coding oneself made from repetition, and now it's subconsciously programmed to shy away from people or from certain things, meaning you could have your self-doubts. First you begin to worry, then the next phase is becoming anxious, and then later the last step is taking no action at all. These events take place in the teenage years, but the problem with this is that people will continue to act this way in what teachers call the real world. We are left by ourselves to develop this social awkwardness, doubtfulness filled with, I don't know what's going to happen, I'd rather do nothing. I don't want to embarrass myself in front of others or myself. I can touch on this subject slightly. I used to have a bit of social anxiety and anxiety of outcomes that I wasn't looking forward to them. So how I do interact with anxiety is just my perspective. I used to psych myself out just by passing by people at moments where I needed to do certain tasks but either shied away or performed to a low basic level. A change of perspective was definitely needed. Anxiety perspective can either be seen as a low view on life for yourself or a higher state of viewing things around your world. I found out that these 6 words put into practice when situations will come up will benefit me in some certain way. But you need to teach the teacher within yourself and understand your mind. Then you will see how confident you really are. But what is the idea of negative ideas about me? How were they made up to have a better understanding? And the major problem overall, anxiety impacts our lives in such a way to limit ourselves. And at the end, that is what we created for ourselves. What is this made up anxiety? Well, it is a made belief system that throws away your confidence, that you instantly shut yourself down and create a scenario of what the most embarrassing, frightening thing might result. That could never happen to me. I would feel like I die inside. Remember, creating scenarios is just your mind playing tricks on you, pretending to save you on this flight or flight. So how and why did this mindset manifest to trap yourself? Remember when not a single thought of anticipation came out during recess, acting up in class, finding your voice to talk back or reply with no shame? Now maybe you paid attention during early years of school or just cared about including others, which is your awareness for humanity, and saw a kid alone, you automatically would say he's shy or she's shy and call them shy guy or girl. The adult or parent will say he's just afraid or she's just afraid of the other kids. Afraid is the frequency the kid gets accustomed to all their life. But now the kid who is not contemplating of wrong or right, acting up in class and shame, finds a new costume to wear later in life. The same material of the afraid kid as life progresses. You say, no, I'm not afraid of anyone. No, I'm not afraid of anyone. Matter of fact, I don't care about anybody's opinion. But that's just the most insecure thing you can say, to not allow anybody's ideas and your imagination to play against each other. That's running and anxiety. Your free true self is put in a box behind you, protected from your mind's insecurities. This character builds up to save you from any unease. So now you became serious about being self-conscious, to the point with any person you can't look them in the eyes, have your head down, take a longer route, which you know it's a longer route, but you possibly can't be seen from that crowd, or do that certain task. It needs to be avoided at all costs. Needing to make a good impression, isn't it? On the edge of your seat, to not embarrass yourself, but still embarrass yourself from all the tension. When you make a fist and squeeze as tight as you can, and apply more force with your arm, until you feel you can't hold this tension any longer. What happens to the hand and arm? It struggles to be in optimal performance, becoming shaky and wavy. Same goes for the mind, but now the mind controls everything, so the whole body now has to suffer. Does the body control the mind, or does the mind control the body? You can't move freely without a free-flowing mind. Just as running on sand at the beach, your tension is all that sand, but once you get into a comfortable terrain, then you've moved freely. Now, what am I talking about? It's social behavior and social status. In our early years, we didn't compare ourselves in social manner of looks, future financial status, relationships, achievements, and attention from others. This is the norm of growing up, doing all these things or having all of those things because they are so much important to us. They matter so much. Maturing stages in life, we think about the future more than ever, for the better or worse. Let's be negative for this. Let's say you let things be. By this I mean by letting every event you want to make happen in your head, planning, practicing, and not commit to it at the end. Letting this scenario play in your head and then talk yourself out of it. Now this creates a system of comfort, and it's a belief system of no, I'm not good enough, or can be seen as remember last time what happened, and so on. Everyone's situation is different. Doubt, fear, anxiety is no different in the mind. It likes to play safe, no funny tricks, it says. It can't experience this shame. What if I get rejected or completely ignored? It's a waste of time in your mind. That's all your mind is telling you, it's a waste of time. The phrase what if creates a very falsely exaggerated outcome. It literally compares it to jumping off a plane with a messed up parachute, and the only way to safety if another skydiver came in and caught you. But in reality, you're just going to a job interview. But the brain doesn't know any context. It has no difference to what situation is different from the other. It just responds to its ones and zeros. So the brain makes everything dramatic. You know why we do certain things and other things that we don't do? Because we are skilled at it. We don't try things that we are not good at. But with anxiety, all the things that we are skilled at, we still get anxious about. We may think we have the skills, confidence, mental strength, but then pull down from our counter thoughts. When this happens, when your thoughts begin to control you from growth or whatever the next best thing is for you, ask yourself who's scarier, what's scarier, them, that, or you? Who tells you no first, you or the boss? Obviously you. You're the scary boss no one wants. Can't you see you scare yourself from anything before it happens? First we think positive, then negative, and then the negative always outweighs the positive because limits of ourselves are much easier to see than experiencing the end itself. So when we react like the worst scenario is going to happen, when this happens, tell yourself these words: I'm the scariest person to myself. Or you can also say, the scariest person to myself is me. Repeat this 6 or 7 words to yourself whenever a negative thought process occurs, or when the outcome seems too far from comfort. When you put this into practice, you will catch yourself and see that you are both anxious and composed at the same time. You observing the surroundings, that is the receiver of knowledge. And you observing that you are observing your surroundings is knowing that knowledge. And that is the teacher within you. You begin to think like the slate has been cleaned, and new perspectives can be expressed around your surroundings when you begin to practice to be the instigator of your life. You will catch yourself, you will battle the negative ideas much easier, because the only person in the way is yourself. And it's much easier to see that. This higher consciousness can be seen like rewiring of your brain or your true self. You can finally see how powerful you are to do such things, to not be attached or identify yourself as being anxious. I know I feel this way or think this certain idea about me, but I know I'm more than just that. The power is yours to do what the instigator wants to do with it. We live in a perspective of other people's perspectives about ourselves, as we think our mind only exists and we have to play the play that we are starting in. You see, the scariest person to myself is me. It's not going to be a cure overnight, but when putting this mantra slowly into practice whenever the occasion comes, you will slowly gain the confidence in yourself as your new nature. You have embodied self-confidence just by knowing you do it to yourself. That all you do is play tricks on yourself. That the mind plays tricks on you.